Maven is a Windows support framework that allows you to build enterprise dashboards, much like the one we see here. In this dashboard, we have some queries configured, and when we select our main query, this is going to execute a query against Microsoft's SCCM server, formerly known as SMS. So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, we've brought up some computers and users, the Active Directory site names that these computers happen to be a member of, when the hardware was last scanned, the IP address of the machine, as well as the MAC address. From here, we can also find users or computers by clicking this button here, which will actually bring up a search window which allows us to search for a user or computer within Active Directory. So for example, if we were looking for a user with the last name of Mason, we're going to write, now we found our user Danny Mason, and we can now right click and apply as filter. And you can see now our grid has been filtered down to only show Danny Mason's name. This text box that you see here allows us to filter through any column within our grid. So for example, if you wanted to find a particular user, I know we just showed you the find option, but if we already knew the last name, you can see I can just type that in and it filters down. Or perhaps you wanted to find machines that are on the 192.168 subnet, and you can see now we only show those machines. So this is what's known as an active filter, which is the default setting in Maven, and that allows us to basically filter on any column. So going back to our user Danny Mason, we can also right click on the computer, and notice it brings up a number of menu items, and of course it has this query computer option, which will allow us to get more information from different sources about this computer. So in this example that I'm showing you here, we're pulling back information from Active Directory. Computer's not a member of any groups, and as well as some WMI queries. So you can see here we've got a number of hot fixes being shown here. So if you want to look for a particular hot fix of interest, you can simply filter through, and you can select only the hot fixes that you're interested in looking up. We can also find some system information, map drives. So these are the map drives of the currently logged on user. We have also selected some services that we care about, and local groups. So if you're looking to find out who is a member of the local administrators group, again, you can just type in administrators, and you can see now these are the two users that happen to be local administrators. And of course, as we tab through this information, the data that we had typed in before will remain in the filter. We can clear that as well. We can also query the user by right-clicking and selecting Query Username, and that's going to bring up various Active Directory properties that we have chosen to show within the Maven console. We also have chosen to show some properties of the group membership that this user happens to be a member of. So one of the things that I've always not liked about Active Directory users and computers is when you're trying to figure out what kind of group the user happens to be a member of. So for example, if I only want to see which group happens to be a distribution group, look how fast I can find that out by simply typing in our filter here. Or if I wanted to figure out when a user was created, I can get that information very, very quickly. So it's all about the filter. If we go back to our system side, you'll notice first of all that every single quadrant in here has the ability to use what's called an active filter, which is what you've already seen. A manual filter was essentially allowing us to type in what we want here and then click the filter button. Or if you want to get into some fancy SQL style filtering, you can actually specify the SQL here, and then you could type in a special syntax here, which is SQL. So for example, here's a show me hotfix ID in, which is a reserved keyword, which allows me to show just these hotfixes. So I can press in this information, press the filter button, and boom, there's our information. If I wanted to save this to perhaps look at other systems to see if they have these two specific hotfixes, you can see that right now I don't have any filters. I can add this to our list, and now that has saved this filter to our list. So if we go to a different machine, we can bring this information up and then quickly filter once again.